West New Britain is a province known for its oil palm production. A big portion of its economy depends entirely on establishments of oil palm blocks, the people and the provincial government's development plans. Geographically, the province experiences rain during months of December, January and February annually. However, this year's downpour was something never experienced in the past. But it was not only rain, strong gale winds and landslips posed threat to the people. 2 to 3 weeks of continuous rain caused flooding and damages in millions to bridges, roads, schools and health services in parts of the province. Homes were destroyed, food gardens washed away and oil palm trees uprooted. Both political and administration heads of the province say the rain experience was totally something new.
This is an unforeseen situation where, in my experience in the last 19 years in West New Britain province, I have never experienced this kind of unusual bad weather. Though National Weather Office have a different opinion as quoting this weather as usual. But in fact, the rain recorded in Biala, according to the report sent by the Hagi General Manager, it is almost like over 2 meters of rainfall. That is over 2,200 millimeters of rainfall. And
the unfavorable weather that we are experiencing, then all our roads are usually cut off. Restoration on the bridges, as I see, because we have 3 bridges which have been washed up, and that will take quite a long time for us to restore the bridges.
But the establishment of the West New Britain Provincial Disaster and Emergency Centre is a key agency in assessing and helping the provincial government when natural disasters strike. Director of the West New Britain Disaster and Emergency Office, Leo Mapmani, says the office is very critical as West New Britain is vulnerable to many natural disasters.
In 2014, we also experienced flooding, but not to the extent as what we are experiencing today. As you have seen in most of the footage that has been captured, this year has been described as the worst that we have experienced, especially when there was this heavy rain associated with strong gale force wind.
The past 8 weeks has been hectic for the disaster team, who have been assessing and coordinating reports to deliberate to provincial authorities and other agencies.
Dial 6, dial 6, dial 6, dial 6, dial the base. Dial 6, dial the base, right check, dial the base.
Director Mapmani says the office has changed its name to a center since accommodating NMSA and IOM.
Our officers are now into going out conducting assessment on reported events, and also we have reports coming in, people coming straight to the office reporting of damages that has been done as a result of this flood and strong wind. So our officers has been going out to verify this report so that that will assist us to compile statistics that will guide us into our distribution.
All 3 officers are now collaborating to serve the purpose. But it's not only the monitoring and assessing of floods and landslips. The Disaster Centre also is a volcano observatory, since West New Britain has both active and inactive volcanoes.
Inside the current situation volcano blow along West New Britain, I think we'll get our list up low level. Status blow list up low level. Now, iluko sem mi play ama mas because you know 1+ something bambla porat lang ama. Now this na radio daw mi pesa dim visual observations. Visual observations mi plan pesa dim every 8 o'clock morning report about. Balik to
The floods in West New Britain has prompted and called for people's awareness and how best to avoid such disasters. The flooding also caused hiccups to New Britain Palm Oil Limited, the multi-million company operating in the province. Destruction to oil palm trees was a major concern for village oil palm growers, who most are settlers from other provinces. Harvested bunches were left to rot as fruit trucks delay for pickup.
Yaro 6 moon behind by me plan not money more. By me plan sit and rubbish. No got money more because me plan look like money blow palm tasol. No got dark rot more by me plan pani mon rot way by me plan kiss money lungen. Me worry me ask him now I'm one President Ben Blame send up here me ask him by can talk lo this long helping me plan long pani me plan way long pani me plan seedlings lo me plan can plan him this oil palm again.
These settlers say the magnitude of destruction caused by flooding and strong winds is totally strange and has affected their lives.
I'm slow I'm been tight. I'm tight go I'm been causing big destruction. But can look on top top. Ground broke you inside them destroy my house blow narrow when a family lo block lo side. I'm come down here and come out the big when a divide blow me stop lo side. Marmar and put on come inside. So now me ask him government you try me lo round na look it's like I know everywhere me block lo face him lam. Wara people tight, also people destruction. At the same time, people win and come. People win and come. People not been experiencing this win for the last 50 to 60 years. Or even tomorrow, you even stop this lap. Or this block na stop. Come or problem blah. Car people now third generation people stop. People not been experiencing this and win. And we come also, we come meeting down over the all. Palm tree blue go down. Now over the crude come out number.
Settlers are calling on the oil palm developer and provincial government to step in and help with seedlings and buy off the harvested oil palm bunches.
By me appeal long working good assessment, especially long all affected blocks, so that simbangarap long win ibrukim kurub long oil palm, kamotim oil palm, taiti karem oil palm you go na inogat in a crop now long give him this plakan money long feed him all family all block you plus our situation blim inside the one block he got 5 plus 6 plus 7 plus family all stuff and then he look more 20 heads long look out him feed him also something.
President Wagai and other LLG presidents have been monitoring and reporting to the disaster office. The coordination between LLG presidents and the disaster center is now a vital process in coordinating relief and support to restore services to affected communities.
We have the volcano observers, our response officers, and administrative staff that coordinate all disaster and emergency preparedness and emergency operations in the province.
Weeks after the floods destroyed bridges in Ivule and Tiaru, Works Minister Francis Awesa and Secretary David Were flew into the province to assess the damage. Minister Awesa says priority will be given to West New Britain to restore services and give confidence to investors in the province.
Of course, recognizing that West New Britain province is a very, very important province in Papua New Guinea, where the people rely very heavily on agriculture, especially oil palm, and the government need to be very, very proactive in restoration of services because a lot of the people, especially the small farmers, they're losing about 800,000 per day in lost revenue from the oil palm.
Support for relief is gaining momentum all over the country. However, restoring services is now a major concern for the West New Britain provincial government and the national government.
And I'm overwhelmed with the kind of support we are continue to receive, especially to restore the relief effort. And as we speak, it's just for the last 2 days we are fortunate to have sunlight and the relief efforts just started. And we need government support immediately, the promised release of that 35 million kina to the Department of Works so that those two bridges, especially the Ivule and Tiauru bridges, can be restored and we can bring normalcy to the province and also to the people, because every delay would cost almost a million kina for those 5 villages who are on the other side of the affected bridge, and also the Biala town is struggling to continue to provide the service because the cargoes are running out and the fuel is running out in Biala town. So we need to restore this bridge with as quickly as possible. I was promised within the next 3 to 4 weeks they will be able to restore with temporary log bridge. So and I wish and pray that the government releases the funds sooner to Department of Works so that these restoration works can be carried out not only in West New Britain but also the other 6 affected provinces. And also I still put an appeal to the government that the promised 8 million kina to the national disaster, and which Prime Minister promised those affected provinces will receive the funds.
Biala is still inaccessible as people and businesses use barges to transport goods and services. The West New Britain Provincial Disaster Centre is now under immense task to record, assess and coordinate relief and awareness for the affected communities. But it's not West New Britain alone that has to overcome and be prepared for such disasters. The threat in weather and climate change is also pushing provinces in the country to be prepared and put in place a working mechanism to overcome the effects of natural disasters.
After 3 months of heavy rain in the West New Britain province, many of its vital infrastructures have been destroyed by floodwaters. The Papua New Guinea government is expected to spend millions of kina on fixing these roads and bridges. Continuous rain, wind and flooding in the area also caused destruction to several homes and food gardens. While relief supplies of food and fresh water are slowly being brought into the province, the people are already facing difficulties in rebuilding their lives.
Tide bin come up and bagarapim will get our garden blomipla. Rainy come, go down bagarapim house, come out in all kappa blow house. Sambla mi play lucy mouse run away about come silly parrello solwara. Na mi play come stop now, so mi play pine mol kai mi play pine lo. Pine fish lo pine market lo sim kai. Bayam kai blomipla lo 7 mol pikini blomipla.
While the call for relief support has attracted positive responses from business houses and the government, the ongoing challenge is to develop resilient communities in disaster-prone areas.
Mi place stop ya, mi place stop osem na mi place kirap no lo rainy come em wara tight em come na rausi mo get something na go.
Papua New Guinea's disaster problems are similar to other parts of the Asia-Pacific region. In 2014, the United Nations Economic and Social Commission for Asia and the Pacific reported that over 85 million people were affected by natural disasters in the Asia-Pacific region. This includes cyclones, storms, floods, landslides and earthquakes. Over 6,000 people were killed and the cost of damage was around $60 billion. The United Nations also warned that the Asia-Pacific is largely unprepared for natural disasters. It has also called for countries to implement better response strategies in future. In Papua New Guinea, disaster preparedness and community risk reduction programs continues to be underfunded.
The community should take ownership in terms of setting up smaller, kind of a law or something that guidelines that restrict people from doing activities which will contribute to things like flooding, like clearing of bushes unnecessarily.
The floodwaters in West New Britain affected mostly the Mosa local level government area just outside of the provincial capital Kimbe. Mosa is an oil palm plantation owned by the New Britain Palm Oil, a leading palm oil exporter in Papua New Guinea and the Southern Hemisphere. Many of its plantations are still flooded. Plantation owners say the oil palm trees are dying out and the future of the business is at risk.
Time this la flood where when a rain been come, lo planti lo mi pla usait mi pla stop are long all wara, all creeks, and mi pla really affected too because time tide me come inside they go inside long all block, I add lo mi pla lo cut him. awas timol palms lo mi bla na bringing me come out logolo market. Tami bla look behind him can to this bla win and me been come and me been disturbing plenty all palms when me bla plan him. So plenty all kuru bla all palm and me broke. Na this la crop and one black and crop or sometime kuru and me broke in another bla broken. So I'm stopped us all up now.
The disaster risk in West New Britain extends beyond floods and storms. The West New Britain province is home to 4 volcanoes. Several eruptions in the last decade have destroyed many infrastructure, which to date have never been rebuilt. Families affected by disasters are now also facing shortages in food and fresh water supply. They are now camping in tents and are now relying on the little money they have to pay for food items.
Now mi plaka mi plasa parelo solwara lo paini mol piso when something lo sevi mol family blo mi plan now. So mi plaka tol pikini staff em noga mo garden kai sai now mi pla live now lo arre blo nambis lo kisin fish lo kautim pikini ni.
The West New Britain provincial government is also waiting for the 8 million kina allocated by the national government to bring relief supplies into the affected communities.